Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm 26 and I'm an alcoholic. I had my first drink I think my first drink was when I was about 12. But the first time I ever got drunk, I was 14. From even the first time that I got drunk, I got blackout drunk, and I ended up in hospital. I didn't learn my lesson. I would still binge drink whenever I got the chance. It was never a case of just drinking a bit. I was always blackout drunk every time I drank. Then when I turned 18, I started working in a pub. So I had more of an opportunity to drink. So I would drink most days, to be honest. I'd put myself in really vulnerable positions from blacking out. It wasn't nice. It wasn't even necessarily that I liked getting drunk. I was struggling with my mental health. I was waiting for a diagnosis for bipolar, and I found that drinking just made me feel better about how miserable I was. And then when I was 19, I got pregnant with my son, and when he was born, I started going out maybe once a month to start with, but I would be a mess every time I went out. Then it was twice a month. Then it went to every weekend, once a weekend. Then it sort of escalated up to every evening of the weekend, so like Friday, Saturday and Sunday, because my son would be staying with his dad. I'd black out every single time I drank, just make a fool of myself, and then I would live with the beer fear for the rest of the week. And I couldn't understand why I would still go out, but I'd spend the week craving for when I could go out. I'd wish away the week because I would just be waiting until I could go out again and get paralytic. My mental health was really bad around that time, but I just blamed it on everything other than the alcohol, when I realised now that was a big factor in my mental health. I made a promise to myself that I wasn't going to drink around my son, and I stuck to that promise for a really long time. I never drank with him in my care at all, not even one. He was like a big protective factor for me, but because in my deluded brain I used to think that it wouldn't affect him if he didn't see me do it, but I didn't can take into consideration that I wasn't really present because I was hungover or craving more alcohol, and suicidal from my actions when I was drunk. Then it escalated and I started drinking a few beers each night in the week when he was in bed. I wouldn't get drunk, but I would drink every day, and then when he was with his dad, I'd get blackout drunk again at the weekend. It really affected my relationships, my friendships, my confidence, my self-esteem, just everything you could think of. I only felt like I could talk to people or even leave the house if I'd had a drink. So I just stayed in for years, unless it was to go out. Over that time, I put myself in hospital twice for broken bones, which I needed surgery on both of them. In March of 2022, I got a phone call to say that my dad had committed suicide. And obviously my heart was broken. So the only thing I could turn to was alcohol, because that had always been there. That had always been how I coped with my life. I would drink bottles of spirits every day. I would get withdrawal because I become that dependent on it when I didn't have it. I was on the road to losing everything. I'd already lost my dad, but I was gonna lose everything: my partner, everyone, my family. And then I had an alcohol counsellor, and she suggested to go to rehab. And at the time, I thought, oh no, I'm not that bad. But with families, support and stuff, I decided that actually, yeah, I would try, because over the years, I tried to get sober so many times, just never worked. I could never get past 3 months because either I'd stop drinking and it'd be out of my system or whatever, but then I didn't have the coping strategies to stay away from drinking. Then on the 7th of September of 2022, I went to Liberty House in Luton for 28 days. I detoxed there, and literally the first week I I cried the whole time pretty much. Obviously, not only was I not drinking, which I'd done for such a long time, I hadn't really grieved my dad, where I just blocked it out with alcohol. So it hit me like a train, really. It wasn't nice. But as time went on, I started to feel stronger and I threw myself into getting better. And when I did leave, I felt, stronger than I had for years, because I knew my triggers. I knew what I needed to avoid. It was hard at first because I would still crave, and, I struggled, but I had like an amazing support network, and as time went on, I got stronger and stronger. I'm now unmedicated for my bipolar, which is because I'm stable. I can face my emotions without turning to alcohol to do that. I'm happy. I really can't thank Liberty House enough for what they did for me, really, because I know, hand on heart, I wouldn't be sober today without them. I put in the work, but like, they saved my life, really. I've got so much to live for now. I've been sober for over a year. I've never been in that position since I was 14. I'm happy to live every sober day, really. It changed my life. Like, I couldn't recommend it more, because I just think if you're in the same position that I was, even though it's scary, and it really is scary to think about going there or going to any rehab, like, it can't get any worse than what it is already. And like, even if it doesn't work, then it's worth a try, because like, if you want to stop drinking, then yeah, it's just so worth it. I never thought I'd be in a position where even when I was medicated for my bipolar, I wasn't stable. I haven't been stable in a really long time, but now, like, I just feel blessed. Like, I've got a baby on the way. I've never been closer with my family. Me and my partner are so healthy now. My son is absolutely thriving and happy. We have such a close relationship because, I'm not hungover. I'm not feeling sad all the time. I've got so much to live for now, and I wish that I could have, like, go back and tell myself years ago just to really, go to rehab, because I could have done this years ago. I fully recommend it, and I really can't thank Liberty House enough. So yeah, thank you for listening.